Hey there, all souls. Pastor Will here with the one and only Eva. Hi, Eva. So Eva, for those of you who don't know, is my daughter, and she is a senior in high school this year and is graduating. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So I asked Eva if she would be on this video because I thought it would be really cool just to talk to a graduating senior and kind of get some of their reflections on this year, get some of their reflections on what it looks like to actually love a senior. Because we are a church that believes that we're a big family on purpose, and that we need to know and understand one another and lean into that. And so, Eva, thanks for taking the time on this day to be a part of that with us. So, Eva, if you had to think about over the last year, one of the things that has been the hardest being a senior during quarantine and COVID, what would it be?
Probably just the season of not seeing my friends in our last year and missing out on a lot of the senior trips and stuff.
Mm-hmm. So you had some kind of hopes that were built up into the year that you had to kind of grin and bear it, right?
Yeah.
So as you were grinning and bearing it, and as you're kind of coming out of that, would you say that you and your classmates have kind of moved beyond that? Or is this the kind of thing where, hey, you're carrying a bit of that grief and loss still, and you would hope that the people around you would know that and be able to kind of come up underneath it and mourn with you?
I think a lot of people already have done that,
Mm-hmm.
like where they've come around us and told us how strong we have been through this, which has been really helpful.
Mm-hmm.
So that when it's starting to get back to normal right now, it's a lot easier, like the transition, and we're a lot more thankful for the things that we have and like the things that even happened, even though we had to miss out on some things.
Mm-hmm.
I think for some people it did kind of make the year a bit stale, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Just you don't really want to look forward to things because there's a chance of it not happening.
Yeah.
But I think now that some things have started to happen towards the end of the year, people are starting to get more excited and just enjoy the last bit.
Isn't that interesting? I love how you bring out just the reality that you and your peers, that there's a sense in which you kind of guard your heart, right? Like you have this picture of what you want senior year to be, and as you start to lose things along the way, you almost stop hoping that there will be a happy ending, so to speak, that there will be something to look forward to, that hey, one of these things at least will be ours. So what's one of the things that you were hoping for that's actually going to happen this year for you? Prom, okay.
And then not an outdoor graduation anymore. Now it's indoor, but just a graduation with some family that gets to be there too.
Mm-hmm.
For
Mm-hmm.
sure.
So one more question, Eva. As you reflect on this year, big picture, where's one of the places, or maybe what's one of the things, you can answer this question however you want, one of the places or one of the things that you feel like you've learned most about maybe the heart of God that you didn't know before?
Well, it was something that I've heard before, but I never like experienced it. But when people talk about how God works in the midst of your pain,
Mm-hmm.
especially when we were feeling that like in quarantine when we were home, like the way he worked on every person that I've talked to, just like developing them as a person and like maturing me and my whole class, like it's crazy how much he actually did work through that, even though we didn't even see it. So that was something that I just started to recognize now that I didn't really while it was happening.
Awesome.
So.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, that is a lesson that you will learn for the rest of your life. And I think that's a beautiful thing, Eva, because there's something about the innocence of being a kid, a childlikeness, that God calls us to live into our whole lives. Like he wants us to trust him like you did when you're little and you trust mom and dad, right? But as you get older, that's harder to do because you've been hurt, you've lost things, right? So just like you said before, you're tempted to just push back and be like, I don't want to hope anymore. And God's saying right there is where I want you to hope. Right there's where I want you to fight for hope, because here's the reality, like I'm at work in the midst of suffering. So as you've heard us talk about 1,000 times over, this kid has heard me preach more than anyone probably in the whole world. Like there's a wedding together in the way God does things of suffering and glory. That those things they're not separate and they can't be separated. Suffering and glory go together. And so the way that we experience God's glory is through suffering. Like when Paul says to the church in Rome, when he writes in Romans chapter 5, he says, therefore we rejoice in our sufferings. Who's rejoiced in COVID and quarantine? No one's like, yes, for COVID. No, he's not saying that we rejoice because we have suffering. He's saying we rejoice in the middle of it because we know that suffering produces perseverance, and perseverance character, and character hope. And that's what you just talked about. And hope does not disappoint because God has already poured his Spirit out into us. And so to Eva and to everyone that Eva represents, all of our graduates from high school, from college, from grades underneath there, but specifically looking at high school and college because it's been hardest on you guys. You're old enough to get it, right? To all of our graduates, we just want to say we are so proud of you for pressing through. You have shown us persistence and courage, and our hearts have been for you. We've been praying for you that you wouldn't simply bear the weight of your loss, but that in the middle of that loss, you would experience Jesus. And that's, Eva and I didn't practice this. We didn't talk about this. I said, Eva, will you come help me make this devotional? So all this is shooting from the hip for Eva. There weren't questions that we were going to ask before. So I'm sharing that because I want you to see how good God is. Because we've been praying for that very thing, and that's what came out of Eva's mouth. And I pray from all of you, even as I've had the chance to reconnect with some of our college students, and I'm hearing the same story, that God has been faithful even in the midst of our suffering. That's who our God is, and we praise him. For our All Souls family, those of you who are local, I want to put it on your radar. In just a couple Sundays, not this coming Sunday, but the one after that. I forget the date of it. So the 6th, the 13th, and then the 20th, is that right? Yes, the 20th. That's going to be our Dads and Grads celebration Sunday. So both in the service and then after the service, we're going to have a big cookout. We invite everyone, especially if you're local and you've not felt comfortable coming to worship inside the building, come be a part of our picnic. You can sign up online. All are welcome. And if you've never been to All Souls and you're just finding this video for the first time, you're welcome. Just come. Even if you don't sign up, come. But if you can sign up, please do that so we can know to get enough food. But we're just looking forward to celebrating in person people like Eva, our grads and our dads, because it will be Father's Day. And yeah, thanks for joining us. Eva, thanks so much for being a part of this. For those of you who may not realize, we're recording this the day before we're airing this. And so today is actually June 7th, which just so happens to be my birthday. And so Eva said, for your birthday, Dad, I'll help you. So thanks for being my birthday present, E.
Yeah, of course.
All right. Love you.
Yeah, you too.
All right, friends. Love you. Have a great day.